If you're tired of spending $100+ on expensive multi-tools like Leatherman's just to have a decent multi-tool in your pocket, and you're looking for a more economical option, and you've stumbled upon the Gerber Suspension NXT and wondered, is it any good? Well, wonder no more. Today we're putting the Gerber Suspension NXT to the test and seeing its pros and cons. And we'll also be rating this from a scale from a 1 to 10. Is the Suspension NXT the multi-tool you're looking for? Let's find out in today's video. The Gerber Suspension NXT usually runs for about $35 to $40 US. I recently picked this one up for less than $30 at Home Depot. Right now on Amazon, this is running around $35 US. So we're off to a good start thanks to its affordability. The Gerber Suspension NXT includes 15 tools in total: spring-loaded needle nose pliers, standard pliers, wire cutters, a 2.25-inch partially serrated blade, scissors, a Phillips screwdriver number 2, large flathead screwdriver, medium flathead screwdriver, small flathead screwdriver, can opener, bottle opener, wire stripper, awl, file, ruler. The NXT also offers all locking tools, so no pinch fingers if it accidentally closes on you. The tool is open from the outside, no opening the handles to get to your knife or scissors, and this also comes with a pocket clip for a convenient carry. So how good is it? The spring-loaded needle nose pliers always come in handy for nails, staples, and in general many things you can grab with them. They've got a firm grip to them, and thanks to those rubbery pieces at the bottom of the pliers, they help to make it comfortable to grip when you're putting pressure onto them. Now this applies to the standard pliers as well. These can definitely help you if you don't have your toolbox with you. You just may be able to remove your car battery with these pliers, depending how tight the terminals are, obviously. So it may just be convenient to carry this with you in your car. The wire cutters can definitely cut through some wires. The only downside to them is that they are not removable. So if you break or damage them, that's it, they're done. You have to replace the whole plier head, but it's not easy to break them, I'll tell you that. The partially serrated blade is actually quite small in my opinion. I would have preferred this to be at least closer to 3 inches, but it still works fine. Another thing though that I'm not too much of a fan of is the partial serrated part. I would have preferred a non-serrated blade, because if you do need a serrated blade, this about 1 inch of it is not really going to be too useful. You can't really go back and forth with this small serrated portion of the blade. Either you add a full serrated blade as well, or you don't add anything at all. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? The blade itself is 420 stainless steel, so it should be easier to sharpen. That serrated edge isn't too useful since it's so small. The scissors are probably some of the most useful tools on this multi-tool. You get a comfortable grip for your finger to press down on, and the scissors themselves actually cut pretty good. I just wish they would have been a little bit longer, but they still get the job done fairly well. They're sharp and comfortable to grip, plus they're spring-loaded. The Phillips number 2 screwdriver has been useful as well. I like the fact that you get a full Phillips head and not a flat one. The only downside I see to it is that it's not centered and it's not straight. So as you're turning the Phillips, you're not going to get a straight insertion into the screw. It's going to move sideways. That's something to consider, because if you're putting pressure to the screw, you may end up stripping it. Now you get 3 flathead screwdrivers, a large, medium, and a small. All very useful as well. Plus they could be useful for multiple purposes. For example, as scrapers or as pry bars. Just try not to put too much pressure on them to avoid damaging them. But it's good to know you have 3 different sizes. Now you also get a can opener that comes in handy for emergencies. You get a bottle opener, which is always useful and great to have. You get a wire stripper, which can be used not just to strip wires, but thanks to its sharpness, you can use this to get some tinder off of wood as well. The awl is useful not just to puncture holes through fabrics, but this can be useful to puncture holes through wood as well, thanks to its sharpness. The file may not be the best file at all, but it could definitely be useful as your nail filer. The size of the file is about 1 inch, so you won't be getting too much filed with that size. But again, for something like your nails, it works just fine. And finally, you have the ruler, which is on the other side of the file, which measures about 1.5 inches or 4 centimeters. So if you need to measure small objects, that may work fine for you. Now let's look at some of the pros and cons. Pros are the following. Affordability. You don't break the bank to get a multi-tool like this. It works well and you won't be crying if you lose it. $35 to $40 seems reasonable to me. Another pro is that it's lightweight. Thanks to its weight of just 6.7 ounces, this is actually quite comfortable to be carrying around. It's 25% thinner and lighter than the original suspension. This can even be considered lighter than some of the phones out there right now. Size. This measures around 4.25 inches, which means it's not too bulky. That plus the fact that it's lightweight makes it ideal to carry around. And thanks to that deep carry pocket clip, this thing practically disappears from sight. And that means you don't need to get a sheath for it either. So that's a plus as well, as you don't need to spend extra money on a sheath. Now the tools from the outside make it convenient as well. You don't have to open the entire tool to get to certain tools. That's always a great feature to have. Now the tool quality as well, it's a pro. While the majority of the tools seem to be made of stainless steel and the blade of 420 stainless steel, you still get a good quality looking tool for less than $40 US. It doesn't look or feel cheap at all. And the final pro is that the locking of all the tools. Now the locking of all the tools makes it safer compared if it didn't have that feature. You don't get that feature on most of the affordable multi-tools. Now let's look at some of the cons. And one of them is the partial serrated blade. I would have preferred if it had a full serrated blade included, plus the full non-serrated blade as well. I don't see a purpose of a partial serrated blade, but let me know in the comment sections, what do you guys think about that? Now, another con I see is that it doesn't have a thumb stud. While it is great to access the tools on the outside, it would have been great to have added a thumb stud to the knife to really have been able and taken advantage of the outer tools. That way you can at least open the knife with just one hand. Another con is the non-removable wire cutters. It would have been great if this had some removable wire cutters, but then again, what do you expect to get on an already affordable multi-tool? But I really think that would have given Gerber some extra sales with replacements. I might be wrong though. And finally, the last con is the not so centered Phillips screwdriver. I get it, you have to sacrifice some things because this is a convenient budget-friendly multi-tool. So if you really needed a centered screwdriver, this may be a problem because the NXT doesn't offer that. But I still feel they work fine and they'll get you out of a bind. That was not meant to rhyme, by the way. So what rating does this get? From a 1 to 10 rating, I give the suspension an 8. It's an affordable multi-tool that is built strong and should last you many years. And even if it doesn't last you decades, at least you know that it didn't break the bank. So who is this tool for? This makes a great gift for anyone, whether it's your dad, husband, wife, son. It's a great multi-tool to start off with. I personally started with the original Gerber suspension many years ago and recently handed it down to a family member. I did a review on it a few years back. If you want to check it out, I'll add the link in the description. So overall, I had a great experience with the first generation of the suspension. It lived in my car for many years until recently, and I plan to do the same with this one here eventually. Put it inside one of my cars as an emergency tool. So you're getting 90% of the functionality for a third of the price when you compare it to some more expensive multi-tools. That's not marketing, that's math. If you're a hardcore contractor who abuses tools 8 hours a day, yeah, spend $120 or more on a Leatherman. But for 99% of DIYers, dads, truck drivers, office warriors who fix a little bit of everything, this works just fine. So overall, the Suspension NXT is a great tool in my opinion. A few cons, but far more pros to it that outweigh any negatives you may find on it. But as always, let me know, what do you think of it? Do you have this tool? And if you do, what do you think of it? Let me know in the comment section. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for your time. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Have yourself a great day. I'll see you in the next video.